With the Wake Up Newscast, I'm all about honoring and amplifying credible local journalism. Every story in every newscast credits and links back to the original source. Want to go deeper into any story? Just scroll down into the show notes to find the hyperlinked headlines. Okay, on with today's news. Wake up, Asheville! I'm Matt Peiken, and this is your local newscast for Wednesday, February 25th. Casting himself as the candidate who did the work after Helene, Republican Adam Smith is trying to separate his campaign from Washington politics and from Representative Chuck Edwards by arguing disaster response should be faster, less bureaucratic, and led by people with on-the-ground experience. A former Army Green Beret who started and ran the volunteer nonprofit Savage Freedom Relief Operations, Smith says Edwards was largely absent in the early weeks after the storm. Edwards disputes that, telling BPR he spent weeks traveling the district in muddy boots, pushing federal disaster funding, and later issuing recommendations for FEMA reform after joining a federal review task force. You can read more about this at Blue Ridge Public Radio. The Henderson County District Attorney is weighing whether to seek the death penalty against Gudrun Kasper Leinenkugel, an Asheville business owner charged in an alleged poisoning that killed 2 people and sickened 4 others. The possible pursuit of capital punishment is expected to come up at a hearing tomorrow. Kasper Leinenkugel, who helped lead Haywood Road's Beanworks Coffee and Tea and Patton Public House, faces 2 counts of first-degree murder and other charges. Investigators allege a bottle of wine served at a 12-person Thanksgiving dinner last year in Henderson County was laced with an industrial chemical that can metabolize into cyanide. Read more about this in the Citizen Times. Asheville police say a newly sworn-in officer, now on investigative suspension, had multiple domestic-related calls before his arrest on misdemeanor assault charges. In January, Paul Anthony Duvernay III called police during a verbal argument with his girlfriend. Officers reported no crimes, and the couple agreed to separate. Weeks later, the same woman returned with a sibling to move out, and police again documented a heated argument without allegations. Last Friday, a different woman told a supervisor an assault had occurred earlier that month, prompting a warrant. Duvernay III was released on a $5,000 bond. You can read more about this at WLOS. A Henderson County U.S. Forest Service employee is suing U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins, alleging intentional age discrimination tied to a 2025 deferred resignation program. Joel Smith, who worked in Pisgah Forest, says he was barred from applying after officials labeled his Job Corps position mission critical. Days after the application window closed, the Department of Labor eliminated duties Smith says were the primary function of his job. He claims the agency violated the Older Workers Benefit Protection Act and retaliated against him. The Agriculture Department declined comment. You can read about this in the Citizen Times. And the Asheville Downtown Association has launched its 2026 State of Downtown Asheville survey, a community-wide effort to understand how downtown is experienced and where improvements are needed. The survey is open to business owners, employees, residents, property owners, and visitors. Executive Director Hayden Plemons calls it, quote, an important tool for listening to downtown stakeholders. Topics include cleanliness and safety, business activity, ambassador services, coordination with city and county partners, and regional homelessness efforts. The survey is open through early March, and a link is on the Downtown Association's website, ashevilledowntown.org. Results will be shared April 14th at the Orange Peel. Read more about this in Mountain Express. Our free newsletter is a quick local news digest, essentially this newscast in written form. Subscribe at wakeupavl.transistor.fm. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at wakeupavl. And please share this podcast with your Asheville friends. I'm Matt Peiken. Thanks so much for starting your weekdays with Wake Up Asheville.